Now at 6 o'clock, putting the safety of children and domestic violence victims at risk. That's the worry local attorneys have as they struggle with the new court-wide computer system. Thanks for joining us. I'm Angela Taylor.
And I'm Russ Bowen. So since early February, I've been reporting on the buildup and the pilot launch of the software in Wake, Harnett, Johnson, and Lee counties. Well, Friday, we heard from a group of lawyers who talked about the delays and the problems they are now having. Tonight, they tell us what their clients are dealing with. These three attorneys thought it might be a rough start. A month in, it still is.
And then there's many things that we still cannot do in this new system legally: filing, paperwork, and pleadings and documents, driving privileges, expunctions, things of those natures.
What worries Parrish Daughtry, Jack O'Hale, and Trey Fitzhugh is even if problems with the new eCourt software do improve, it's still going to be problematic because of how many steps it takes for each case.
There is no way, no matter how much we improve, that, to Parrish's point, that this will not continue to be an extremely burdensome process for everybody involved.
They say that burdensome process is delaying case after case because even the most simple traffic citation is taking so long.
Remember, first and foremost, that all lawyers, judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, are officers of the court, and we're trying to work together to accomplish a common goal, which is to do justice under the law. That's not happening right now.
Then there is the matter of public safety, including children and victims of domestic violence. Have any of you had any clients thus far who have had real issues?
We've had clients that have been awarded custody and an order, and it takes 5 days to get the order in hand. The public doesn't need to wait 5 days for an order regarding children. I've had clients in domestic violence protective order court have continuance orders and had to wait 48 hours to get that, to have that protection. I've had orders entered a week later. And that means the original order of protection expired.
Some of Fitzhugh's clients are getting a shocking surprise in the mail.
You go into the court system, they amend it to an improper equipment or reduce the speed to something that would not increase your insurance or would not cause you to lose your driver's license. Well, lo and behold, because of the data entry burdens, there are concrete examples of people receiving letters from the Division of Motor Vehicles saying you were convicted of 81 and a 65, your license is revoked.
Daughtry is also concerned there is not enough security to keep someone from potentially altering an official court document.
I'm terrified about what I've already seen and what's to come. The constitutional and due process and inequities that this system poses on the public is setting the state of North Carolina up for a great lawsuit against them.
Tyler Technologies is under contract for the $100 million project. They've referred all questions to the Administrative Office of the Courts. In response, the agency says overall the system is working and getting better each day. Both attorneys and courthouse staff are gaining comfort and familiarity with the system. That said, any new system has a learning curve and requires configuration refinements during the pilot phase.
One has to wonder, what sort of due diligence did our state government do in entering into this contract when you're dealing with somebody who had a track record that is substantially less than perfect?
Especially when you're talking about domestic violence victims and then children maybe being placed in places maybe isn't safe and they're having to wait it out because the system says, oh, nothing's changed. This is really scary.
It's a very serious situation.
So the plan is to have this launched statewide.
Right.
I mean, how is this going to work? What's the timeline?
So Charlotte is supposed to, which is Mecklenburg County, is supposed to launch in May. Well, you know, we're only, what, a month and a half away from that. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. No word yet, but based on this, they got a lot to get through between now and then. In the rest of the state, there's no timeline, but that's 100 counties in North Carolina that eventually have to sign on. And as you know, I've told you about other people who have posted bond but remained in jail after that bond was posted. One incident I talked about last week, the charges were dropped, rather, on Wednesday, and the person remained in jail till the following Monday. So,
ooh, this is not good.
Yeah,
in some perspectives.
And listen, they say, I will tell you, the clerks in the courts, the judges, the attorneys, everyone's working hard to try to make this work. There's no question about it. But there are a lot of glitches that they've got to get through at this point.